We'll just give final 1 minute and then we'll get started. Fine, yes, we'll get started. You guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, fine. Let me share my screen. Okay. So fine. So what we'll do first thing is for the people who have already registered, right? You guys will have to set up the Tomcat and e-library application in your laptop. So first 5 minutes, I'll go over how to do this so that you'll be able to do this before coming to the next class. Okay, so first 5 minutes, let me explain how to set up the Tomcat and e-library application in the your own laptop. Okay, so first thing what you do is Java is a prerequisite. Okay, so just go to your laptop and then check what is the Java version. Okay, any version should be okay as long as Java is installed in that version. You're good. If in case Java is not installed, just download the Java from the Oracle website. Okay, you can download the entire JDK if you go to oracle.com or just go Google download Java. You should be able to download it and install it. Installing Java is very straightforward. Okay, once you install Java, you need to just check whether the environment variables are properly set. Okay, let me go to this. So go to the environmental variables. Okay, and then you need to check for a couple of things. You have to set it: your Java home, your JDK home. Both you check and then set it up in your machine. Okay, which version of JDK? Anything should be okay, but see if you can get Java 8 because most of the tools with what I use in my machine it is JDK 8, so you can also go with that. Even otherwise, it should be okay. I mean, you will not have a problem. Just that you need to download a corresponding say Tomcat or other things, but everything will work. But if you have Java 8, it will be better. But it's not mandatory. Okay, so what you do is if you're when you type in Java version, if you don't find Java, you install Java and then come to the environmental variable and just check whether Java and Java home. Okay, both should be set in your variables. Okay, so for a Java, it will be up to bin directory. If you go to your C program files, okay, wherever the Java is installed, go there, go to Java, and then go to JDK, go to bin. Here is where you find java.exe. Okay, so so what we are telling to your computer is whichever application needs Java, the Java is available in this path, JDK bin. That you have to give it in the one of the environmental variable called Java. Okay, for Java home, there's nothing but where is your JDK? Entire JDK is for this, use this entire JDK path. Okay, there's a very small difference, but this difference will cause problem. Okay, so just ensure follow the video tomorrow and then set it up as I have given it to you. Okay, and then one more is go to the path variable. There's one more variable called path. Open the path, and again here as well provide the bin directory, JDK/bin directory. Okay, so these three things you give it, and then say apply, say okay, okay. You are good to use the any Java-based application. Even if you want to use Jmeter, right? You need Java. If you want to use Eclipse, you need Java. If you want to use Tomcat, you need Java in the mission. Okay, fine. That's the first thing what I will do it. And then second is go to the drive. Some of you might have already got access to my drive. Okay, go to the drive, and then here you will see a Tomcat zip. Okay, download this Tomcat zip to your machine and then unzip it. Okay, once you unzip it, you also download a WAR file, or rather, I think Tomcat itself will have a WAR file. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, so download the Tomcat and then just unzip it and put it in the folder. Probably inside D folder, you create something called PE training, and then you extract it like this. Okay, then go to the Tomcat folder, go to the web apps. In the web apps, you will find the elibrary.war. Okay, so you might not find this folder. You'll just find this. Okay, so this is my elibrary war file, which is copied to a web apps folder. Now, what you do is just download, extract, just verify whether the war file is there. It will be there anyway. And then go to the bin directory. Okay, go to the bin directory and then do a startup, or just go to the command prompt. Okay, and then type in startup.bat. Okay, so once you start your Tomcat, the server should be up in a couple of seconds. Okay, so it should not take more than a couple of seconds. The AppDynamics is connected with my Tomcat, so it takes few more seconds. Otherwise, it should be less than 5 or 10 seconds. Okay. I think something is running in my machine, so it has already started logging something. So once you start this Tomcat, there might be some problem in starting the Tomcat. One of the main reasons is if the Java is not properly installed and your environment variable is not set. Okay, that is the first one of the main reasons why your Tomcat might not start. The other reason could be just go to the Tomcat and then go to your bin folder and open the Catalina.bat. Okay, so this is where your all these heap configuration, all the tuning flags, we might be giving it in the startup script. So this is the startup script. When JVM starts, it will look for these options like your minimum heap, maximum heap, XMS and XMX. We will learn later. So this is the heap configuration, and then this is one of the GC configuration. This is the heap dump configuration. All these things you will learn later when we go into the memory topic. Okay. Now there might be some problem with the wherever there is a folder, right? So I have set a AppDynamics jar folder, and there is one more folder here for the heap dump. just do one thing, just put REM in front of all these things. Okay, this will, because these folder might not be there in your laptop. Okay, because of which the server will not stop, will not start. So before starting the Tomcat, open this catenary.bat file and then just put this REM. REM means it's like a comment. Okay, in front of heap dump path, in front of JProfiler path, in front of your AppDynamics path. Just these three alone, you just add a REM, and then save it, and you should be good enough. Okay, that's it. So very, very simple steps. 5 minutes, you will be able to set up this in your machine. Verify your Java, download Tomcat, unzip it, verify this catenary.bat file, and then you can go and start your server. Okay. Anybody have any doubts? Very simple step. Sometimes the problem might be because of Java is not installed properly, or whatever I told you in the catenary.bat file, if it is not commented properly, you will see your server is not starting. Okay. Otherwise, it should be very straightforward. Anybody have any question, guys, on this? Anybody have any questions? You guys wanted to repeat anything? Because this is a very basic step which you have to follow to set up this in your laptop. Okay. Okay. If you guys have don't have any question on this, we'll move forward. Okay. The structure of the drive, I will explain it maybe next week once you all get access to the drive. I will explain how to access the drive and how to navigate through, how to download, for what session, what kind of artifacts are there. I'll explain you later. Okay, fine. So what we will do, and you can also refer to the software and links. There's a spreadsheet available in the drive, which will have the path for downloading all the softwares. What I'm going to use it in our sessions. Okay, fine. So next 30 minutes, what I will do is I'll go over randomly pick one of the topic. Say I will pick a topic of Java thread, and then I'll go over that for the next 15-20 minutes. Okay. And then what we'll do is, so these are the topics, right? So out of this, I'll just pick Java thread randomly and spend some 30 minutes just more from a demonstration perspective. And then what we'll do is we'll take questions. There's a couple of questions yesterday people asked, right? I think they wanted to know what topics are related to Java and non-Java. I'll also explain that at the end. Okay. So let me open the okay. So I was telling you yesterday, right? From a performance engineering perspective, everything will be around your CPU, your memory, keep thread, right? Every task. So you guys every day, I think you might be already knowing about CPU and memory, right? In your laptop, even if you go and get a laptop, you will be looking for a CPU configuration, say 4-core CPU, and then your 4 gig or 8 gig RAM, right? So it's pretty similar even when it comes to your server environment. everything is going to have a specification, right? 8 gig RAM, 16 gig RAM, or 4 core CPU, 8 core CPU. That's how your specification is going to be. And then out of that 8 GB or 16 GB, you will allocate say 2 GB or 4 GB heap to your application. Okay. And every request that is going to come from your browser, say you use Amazon.com. Okay. And Amazon.com, you access it, I will access it, and everybody around the world are going to access it. So requests are going to be handled by something called threads. So threads, you can just assume that they are workers, they are task handler. Okay, so the threads will be configured in your say Tomcat kind of server, web server, or an application server. It is not. It is going to do nothing other than handling the task. When you do a login, when you do a search, those requests will be handled by these threads, and then the thread will execute the particular piece of code, piece of service, which will consume CPU, which will consume memory. That's how, to put it in a very simple way, thread, CPU, memory, that's how it is going to be interrelated. When a request comes, it will get assigned to a thread. Thread is nothing but a worker, right? So in an organization, we're all going to work, right? We're all workers. Some will get assigned with some task, and we will execute, and then we'll deliver. Similarly, in a server, request will be handled by a thread, and thread will consume CPU, because nothing will work without a CPU, right? Even my PPT needs CPU. When I open a Word, it needs CPU. When I open Tomcat, it needs CPU. So every thread is going to consume CPU, and it is also going to consume memory, because it has to store the your variables locally in memory, right? Whatever login, in the login there might be 10 variables, 20 variables. So all these things has to be stored temporarily. So every thread is going to consume CPU, every thread is going to consume memory. That's how simple terms you can understand these relationship between thread, CPU, and memory. Now, to even more make you this thread concept more easy to understand, right? I'll compare the threads, your app server threads, to a food app like Swiggy or Zomato or Zepto, right? So all these are all kind of a food delivery app, correct? We all know how it works. The people, the delivery person will be waiting somewhere in the parking lot, waiting for the request to come, right? So you or me from mobile app, we will order food. So whenever we order, the particular delivery will get assigned to a person who is free, and then you will wait for the restaurant to complete the cooking. Once it is ready, you will take it and deliver it. Similarly, depending upon number of requests, the people, the Swiggy delivery person will get the task assigned, and he will wait for the restaurant to finish the cooking, and he will take it and deliver it. That's how cyclically it is going to work. Correct. So, which means the Swiggy person is going to be sometime idle, sometime he'll be waiting for the kitchen to complete the cooking, and he'll be actively going and delivering it. Right? And one more interestingly, if you see in the early morning or late evening, there will be too many requests, right? So the Swiggy kind of a organization, they will employ more people in the evenings and mornings, and maybe in the afternoon, early evening and all. There is not going to be much demand, right? So they will probably employ less people, okay, to meet the demands. Okay, that's how in general Swiggy is going to operate. And when you compare this with our server threads, right, it's going to be little similar. Again, it's not an apple to apple comparison, but for you to remember this concept, I'm just comparing with some real time examples. Okay, so now your thread is also going to behave in a similar way. A thread is going to be idle when there is no request. When somebody is going to hit the server for login or search, the available threads are going to get assigned. and it will wait for the complete backend execution to backend to be completed. Once it is ready, it will go and deliver the response to your browser. Okay, so which means your thread is also going to be sometimes busy, sometimes idle, sometimes waiting. And even here, to meet the demand, right? Sometimes there will be many requests. Sometimes there will be very less requests. So in servers also, you have a flexibility to assign how many minimum threads you want, how many maximum threads you want. So that in the morning there will be too many traffic. So you need more threads, more workers, right? And maybe as the days goes or in the night time, you will not see a lot of requests. That time you don't need many workers, many threads. So in server also, you will have the flexibility to go and configure these thread as minimum and maximum. For example, if I go to my Tomcat and if I go to my configuration file, and then if I go to my server.xml, okay, if you see here, under my 8083 port, I've configured minimum as 5, maximum as 8. Okay, so what I'm saying is, when JVM starts, just give me 5 threads. That is enough for me to handle the traffic. When 5 is not enough, when there is too many requests, then the server will go, JVM will go and spin up 6, 7, and 8, up to 8, not more than that. Okay, so this is minimum thread and maximum thread configuration. What we do it in the server.xml. In a real time, it is going to be 100, 150, 200. It's not like 510, right? It is going to be more than that. How do we configure threads? What is the correct number? What is the correct number for my heap? What is the correct number for my thread? Those things you will learn later. That's part of benchmarking. Okay, but more from a thread concept, that's how thread is going to work. You assign min and assign maximum. Okay, what I will do is probably I'll make use of JVisual VM to show you how to show you visually how these threads gets created and how these threads going to move from one state to another state. Okay, so what I will do is I'll download a first of all I'll download a war file from here. The one which I have having already is having some performance problems. I don't want to use that now. Okay, so I'll download this. So far, anybody have any questions on basics of thread? What is thread? How it is configured? Various states of thread.
Satish, you have said you have said right, minimum threads is 5 and maximum threads is 8. But suppose if minimum threads coming from only 2 or 1, then other time what it will do?
Other 3 are going to be idle. There will be no request will be assigned to that thread. It will be just in a parking state. So we call it as a parking state or idle state.
Okay. But
Yeah.
if getting more than 8, then
No,
it will accept.
it will go into a queue. Okay, what will happen is, say 8 threads are started. Okay, on all 8 are busily doing some work. Okay, say for example, from Jmeter, you have started some 15 user load test. Okay, so there will be many requests that will be coming to your Tomcat, right?
Yes.
So at a time, it can handle only 8. So if there are 15 requests coming, other 7 requests will wait. Once the other task is completed, then only it will be able to handle it, which means your response time is going to shooted up. It will increase. That's a typical problem when it comes to your thread contention, right? Especially when you do a stress test,
Yeah,
okay, where
exactly.
you do a 2x load. That time, if you don't go and increase the thread configuration, then what you will see is as the user ramps up, your response time will also slowly will start increasing, and then it will have a response time problem.
Yes. Okay. Got the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Satish, regarding the number of threads, is that by default is 8 or is you just set 8?
No. I just for my convenience, I put min as 5, max as 8. There is nothing called default. Okay, for your application, you have to do a benchmarking. Okay, depending upon the requirement of number of users, and then your response time, your heap. So all are interrelated. There is something called benchmarking. We have to do it. Okay, that I'll explain later. Then only we will arrive for my application. What is the min heap? What is the max heap? What is the minimum thread? What's the maximum thread? With this combination, how many users I can load from one server for one JVM? Accordingly, I have to go and get 5 machines or 10 machines. So that is part of the JVM benchmarking. I'll have a detailed session after probably 8 or 9 sessions. We will go into this benchmarking.
Okay.
Satish, this thread concept only comes in the synchronized request or even for the async application?
See, even for async also, thread is going to handle the request, right? It can be synchronized or it can be asynchronized also. Behavior is going to be same. Only thing is synchronized means it will wait for the execution to complete, and then it will provide the response. In async means it won't wait for the actual request to get completed, right? It will just send the acknowledgement, and then it can go and pick the another request that is coming into the server. So for both the sync and asynchronous, the way thread is going to work is not going to be that different.
So that means the more the number of threads, even for async and sync, it will be able to handle more requests.
Yes, true. That is true. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this started. Let me also go and open the JVisual VM. Also, you can download it from the internet, or it is there in my drive. Also, from my drive, you can download your JVisual VM. Okay, so you will have this kind of a zip folder. You can unzip it, and then go to bin folder, and then open the Visual VM. It should be there in my drive. Let me check it quickly. If you go to here. Yeah, the Visual VM 202.zip, you can download it from here. Okay. I'll open my Tomcat. Okay, go to the threads. If you see here, under 8083, 8083 is our port, right? In the server.xml, I have given 8083 port. So default, my e-library application is going to listen at the 8083 port. Okay. So if you see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 executed threads are started already, and all 5 are in the orange state. Orange is nothing but parking or idle. Both are same. So there is no request been made from anywhere. So all 5 threads are in a idle state. Okay. Now I'll just go and do a single navigation. Admin 1, 2, 3. Okay, you will see one of the thread is picked a work, right? It went to green, it went to sleeping, it went to running, again it went to sleeping, and again it went to your parking state. And login is completed. Okay, so the thread moved from parking to running, running to sleeping, sleeping to running, running to sleeping, and again to your parking. So those are the various states of the thread. When a request has been assigned, it can move between your running, sleeping, and there's something called monitor also. I'll talk about the monitor a little later. Monitor is nothing but blocking state. If a thread is got blocked by other threads, We call it as a blocked state or logged state or monitor state. Okay. If I again do one more, say view librarian, again another thread will get assigned with this work. It went to sleeping. It went to maybe running is very, very minimal. Maybe it's very microseconds. It didn't show it visually here. Okay. What I will do is I'll go to Jmeter. Okay. And in Jmeter, I have a very basic script for homepage, login, and view librarian. Okay. I'll just start with some, say 3 users. Just 3 users. I'll run it. Okay. So 3 users, I'm running it. So which means your couple of threads will get assigned with the task. 1, executor 1, 4, 5, all 3 threads now got the task assigned. Executor 2 and 3 also it got assigned. So 5 threads will randomly get assigned with the login and view librarian randomly. Okay. So you will still see some are in parking state because the traffic is not too much, right? Only 3 users. Okay. Now, if I go and I'll stop the test. Okay. And then I'll start the test with say 7 users. Now, what I will see is after a few seconds, because now we are doing it 7 concurrent users, right? We have a minimum of 5 threads only. 5 threads might not be enough. So your Tomcat, what it will do is it will go and request for additional threads, and additional threads will be created. Okay, I'll just go and start it now. Override. And if you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 threads are there, right? Now all 5 threads are started, and then all are in doing some busy activity. If you see here, executor 6, executor 7. So 7 threads got started. Okay, not 8. It has pinned up 2 more threads, and all 7 threads are in actively doing some work. Right? Some are in running, some are in sleeping. some went into parking state. Okay, so 7 it is not always like one-to-one mapping. Not that when you use 7 concurrent users you need 7 threads. No, it depends upon the response time. If the response time is very, very, very fast, right? 1 second, 500 milliseconds, then you might not need one-to-one map, one-to-one kind of relationship. It won't be actually. Okay, so don't confuse with this thread and Jmeter thread. Okay, Jmeter thread is Jmeter concurrent users. The terminology what Jmeter uses, they call it as a thread, but don't confuse. It is nothing but a concurrent users. So number of concurrent users is 7. Okay, and then thread we gave min as 5, max as 8. So it has been additional 2 threads. Okay, now all are in some are in parking state, some are in running, some are in sleeping, right? Now what I'll do is I'll go and stop the test. The behavior of the Tomcat or your JVM is once the requests are going to get stopped, when there are not too many traffic, it will go and kill those additional 1 or 2 threads after some time, because even if the threads are created and if it is idle, even then it will consume some CPU. Okay, so for a better optimal performance, always your JVM will try to maintain minimum threads. Only if it is required, it will go and have additional threads. Okay, so let me see whether the test is stopped. Test is stopping. Okay, test is still getting stopped. I think the JVisual VM got stuck. I guess so, because it is not reflecting the changes. That's okay. Let this test stops. Okay. Okay, fine. Meanwhile, again, if any of you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Satish, Tomcat is basically web server or application server, or else both?
Both. It can act as both as a web server and your application server.
Okay. When it would be act like a web server and when it would be an application server?
What will happen is, in my case, in my laptop, I'm serving both your static content and dynamic content, right? In my E library, yeah, I have both. All, if I go into the Tomcat, if I go to the web apps, okay, if you go to the E library, you see that I have all my JS files, HTML files, and then if I go into the
screen is stuck in Windows.
Is it? Oh, okay. Let me share it again. One second. Let me share. Stop it and then share it again. Yeah, share it again. You guys able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in my Tomcat, if I go to the web apps folder, okay, you will see all the HTML document. You will see JavaScripts, and you will see images, everything. That's a static content. And then if I go to the web INF, if I go to the classes, if I go to COM, Java deployment, and then servlet, all the classes, all the Java dynamic classes also going to be there. So it is app server. In some cases, we can use web server alone. So normally what will happen is a lot of time the request will be more for your static content. Okay, that time you can just serve the static content alone through a web server. So you will have a separate server for web server, separate for application server also. But Tomcat can act as both.
That we need to set up, right? If you want to web server, then we need to set up in Tomcat, right? Like that.
Correct. That will, yeah, correct. Normally that will be that will be decided by your deployment team, and then they will deploy a separate server for web server and separately for application server.
Okay. Then, but it basically it will act as both.
Correct. It can act as both. Correct.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Let me check whether this is back. Okay, let me close it. Meanwhile, again, I think there were a couple of hands. Anybody have any questions? There's a question on idle and waiting. Okay. Idle is, it is not assigned with any task. Okay. There's no request assigned to a thread, then it is called as idle or parking. Okay. Waiting is, it is assigned with the task. Okay. But it is waiting for something else. It is waiting for your some of the your native resource, your host to do some IO activity, or even your sleeping, right? Sleeping will come under waiting category, in fact. So you have a forcefully, you have a timed waiting and at the code level. So sleeping means a thread is going to sleep for 1 second or 500 milliseconds. So it is running. A task is assigned to a thread, but in between it is going to go and sleep. Okay, so sleeping will also come under waiting, or it is waiting for some of the your native resources to complete some IO activity. Okay, so all are waiting. So that's the difference between parking and waiting. Parking is no task assigned. Waiting is a task is assigned already. Say a login is assigned to the thread. It is busy running, and then in between it will go to sleeping, or in between it is waiting for some kind of a IO activity at Windows level is happening. So it is waiting for that, and then it will again go to the running state. So that's the difference between your idle state versus waiting state. Waiting is it is waiting for something. Idle is idle. There is no task assigned to the thread at all.
Yes, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Others in the call, anybody have any questions, guys? There's one more
Hi,
hand
Satish.
raised. Yeah, hi.
Can you open the JVisual application once?
It got stuck. I need to kill it. Let me kill it once again.
So,
Yeah, I'll open it. You go ahead with your question.
yeah. So my question is, suppose like the maximum threads are 8, we have set in the application server. And what is happening is that, we have a business flow, suppose login and then view some pages in the after logging in. So now a thread, when we are sending the request for that particular flow, a thread is getting assigned to it, right? And we have suppose for 8 threads, we have 20 requests incoming. So now my question is, so suppose one thread got assigned for that whole business flow, right? And it has finished a login flow. Now it is free, and it again got another request at that particular time. So will it pick up the login flow again for the new request, or it will continue to view the subsequent request or subsequent pages? Like how will it
No,
work?
it will
My
it
question is,
will. I got it. Say you and me accessing Amazon.com. Okay, so I'm doing a
yeah.
login. You're also doing a login. I'm doing a search. You're doing some other activity. For me, for a
Hmm.
login, thread 1 is assigned. For you, thread 2 is assigned for login. Okay, so my login
Yeah.
is completed. Your login is also completed.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
I'm going to do a search. For my search, thread 1 not needed that thread 1 will be assigned for a search. It can be thread 2 or thread 3. For you also, you might be doing a, say, you're going to look into order history. For order history, same thread is not going to get used. Okay, so it's going to be at the request level only, not at the session level. So a request will get
Hmm.
assigned to a thread, not the user session.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Your session IDs, your tokens, your CSRF tokens, or your JWT token session IDs, all these things are all going to be either available in the DB or in the cache. So thread 2, when it receives a request, right, then your server logic will validate whether it's a genuine user, it's a valid token, it's a valid session ID that will be validated. So irrespective of whoever is going to say, for example, at a security gate, there can be multiple security people, right? So whoever is going to enter a building, he will check whether employee is having a proper ID card or whether he's having an access. Okay, your security person will not even know you by in person, right? They will not even know who are you. They will just check your ID card, whether you have access or not. That's how the here also it is going to work. Your thread 1 will not know whether it is going to be user 1 or user 2 or user 3. Okay, it will just receive a request. It will validate the session tokens or your OAuth tokens or JWT tokens, whatever token the application is going to use it. It will validate. If it thinks that it's a genuine, the tokens are valid, it is going to process the request. Otherwise, it is going to respond with 401 or unauthorized user, and then it is going to reject the request.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm into the visual VM again. Yeah, somebody I had a question on visual VM, right? Anybody have any question here?
Yeah. So Satish, is this a visual VM is an interface for the Tomcat server?
No. So you have couple of monitoring tools for Java, right? One of the tool, if you go into the JDK, you go to your C program files, and then go to the Java JDK, go to the bin, and you will see couple of tools here. For example, you will see JConsole. Okay, JConsole is one of the Java monitoring tool, natively available Java monitoring tool. You can go and select your process ID, your e-library application, and then you can monitor it. Okay, your threads, your memory, your heap, everything. Similarly, under bin, you will find tools for taking heap dump, thread dump, all these things. Similar to JConsole, JVisual VM is a one more Java monitoring tool. Okay, it's not a UI for Tomcat. Rather, it's a one of the Java monitoring tool which you can use it. Say, for example, if you don't have a AppDynamics or Dynatrace, okay, then at least to get a basic monitoring of your heap, your CPU, right? For that, you can use tools like JVisual VM or JConsole. Okay, you would be able to take heap dump. You will be able to go and take thread dump from here, monitor your threads, monitor your CPU, monitor your heap. All these things you can do it from Visual VM or from the your JConsole. In some organization, they might not allow JVisual VM. You can use JConsole. If they allow to use it, you can use either of one. So it's a monitoring tool.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
similarly for like as you have for Java, similarly do you have tools for suppose Go language, .NET or Python to
Yeah,
track the
Python.
stresses
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
application?
yeah. Python, .NET. There are going to be some native tools that are available for sure. You will learn those as well in the sessions. Both .NET and Python, I'll be covering it from these monitoring and profiling perspective. Other things, see, Go or any other language, right? Definitely there will be some native monitoring will be available for any framework, any language, any software. Okay. Uh, the way this question actually comes in the interview also. Okay. Say for example, Java, you have these tools. .NET, you have these tools. For Oracle, you have AWR report. Say for example, if in your organization, in your architecture, if you have a Elasticsearch or a MongoDB, how do you monitor it? That is going to be a generic question that will be asked. Okay, I don't know MongoDB, or I will not know about Elasticsearch, and I cannot know everything. But approach towards this question is going to be, if an architect is going to pick a software in the architecture, right? Because whatever we are talking about, Go language or this MongoDB, it's going to be part of the architecture, right? So they have picked this technology, they have picked this software, and with this they're going to go into a production. So when they go into a production, everything has to be monitored. Completely everything has to be observed. What is happening in the MongoDB? How much memory MongoDB is taking? What is the CPU consumption? How many requests are coming into MongoDB? All these things has to be definitely monitored. So every software, before they pick for the architecture, definitely one of the important qualification is you should be able to monitor all these important vitals through any software. It could be Dynatrace, it could be AppDynamics, or every software will have a native monitoring options definitely available. All these commercial tools will for sure have to have it. Otherwise, people will not use it. If MongoDB is not going to provide you any of the statistics, right? Then it's a huge risk using a software. How do you know what is going wrong, whether it is consuming a CPU or not? So definitely it will have some kind of a monitoring tool natively. So we have to go research and then find it out. So similarly for Go or for any other software that you name it, I might not have an answer. But you can definitely go and look into their user manual, and then probably we might not need to go and configure it and all, because since somebody has already picked it right in your architecture, they would have picked it. So there should be a proper monitoring strategy available for production by your production monitoring team or by your architects. So you have to discuss with them. If they don't have an answer at all, it's a huge risk, which I don't think so. You can also do some analysis and then probably go and propose certain tools for your technology stack. That's how I will answer the interview question, and that's how practically it is. Okay, so if you ask me go, I don't know, but I can go and find it out, and it will be there. So for .NET and Python, you will learn in the session what are the monitoring tools available and what are the profiling tools available. But there are n number of things can be there in the architecture. You cannot be expert on everything. We have to have an open mind, go analyze, research, and then we will be start using it. Did it answer your question?
Yes, Satish, thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. There's one more question.
Yeah, Satish. I just wanted to just check when you said getting the heap dumps and we should have an APM. So when you say that, suppose I'm using my APM tool is Datadog. So all the services will be already configured in the Datadog. So I just do an execution here. So then for that particular time frame, I just check these things. So that is what you meant, like getting the heap dump.
No. Getting a dump is getting a snapshot of what is there in the memory. For example, you started the test at 8 a.m. Okay, and at 8:30, 8:45, you are monitoring the heap. For example, if I go to this year, and if you look at this heap chart, right, it goes up, it comes down, it goes up, it will come down. Okay, if you see this kind of a pattern, second chart, what I'm referring to, the heap chart, right, it goes up, it comes down, right. But in your load test, if it is going up, if it's not coming down completely, if it is going up, not completely coming down, what will happen is your memory will get exhausted, and you will see out of memory problem. Okay, so during an endurance test, typically you will monitor your heap, because we run an endurance test to understand the memory pattern and to find out whether there is any memory leak or not. So when you find a bad memory pattern, memory keep on increasing but not coming down, right? That time, say test is 30 minutes hold, or 1 hour you've been running a test. In the last 1 hour, there will be multiple logins, multiple search, multiple add to cart. All these functionality would have been keep on executing, right? And probably 1 or 2 is having a problem with the memory leak. So those strings or arrays or objects will be sitting permanently in the heap. So when you take a heap dump, it will go and take a snapshot of all those objects which are there in the heap at that moment. If you're going to take a heap dump at 9, it will go and take it will collect all the data that is there in the heap, and it will save it as in a .hprof file. That is called heap dump. So you're taking a dump of all the objects that are sitting in your heap. That is called heap dump.
Okay, so will this course be covering like how you will be how to take a heap?
Yeah. So let me go into that slide very quickly. So when to take a heap dump is very, very important. What pattern we have to look from memory perspective, when to take it, how to analyze it, all these things will be dealt in detail in the your when you go into a memory topic, right? So what is the pattern you have to monitor in your endurance test? When the pattern is bad, the pattern at the top is very good. Pattern at the below is having a problem. And then we'll go and understand when to take the heap dump, how to take the heap dump, couple of options for taking a heap dump. And then we will use a tool like Eclipse Memory Analyzer to go and analyze it as well. So we'll have a complete learning from a heap and heap dump perspective.
Yeah, just a question, one more question. When you'll be showing this analysis, so which like APM tool you'll be using for us to show, or will it be only slides?
See, no. We'll be using tools only. For taking the heap dump, there are many ways. Okay. One, you can use your JProfiler or JVisual VM or any APM tool also. It is just like going and clicking something on the UI. Or we also go look into something called JMap, which is a command line utility in your Java folder. So we can use any of these options to take a heap dump. To analyze the heap dump, we'll use the tool called Eclipse Memory Analyzer tool. Okay, so it is not slide PPT. It is going to be practically only we'll be going and doing all these things using tools. And then we'll also go and look into the code. What is that issue is? What is that? Why is that memory is leaking? What is the root cause? So it will be completely practical and hands-on only. It is not going to be at the slide at all.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and APM perspective, we will use both AppDynamics and Dynatrace. Both are leading APM tool. So we'll use both AppDynamics and Dynatrace. From a monitoring, you will learn how to use these tools for doing diagnostics to find out the root cause. For all these things, we use both AppDynamics and Dynatrace together.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Satish, I just have a question regarding the material. So are you provide any documentation for the definitions and also the concepts?
See, there are document that will be provided by Isha for performance engineering. Okay, it is there. But that will be very generic and it will be very comprehensive also. But that is something standard document that will be given by Isha. Okay, but from the session by session, the artifacts are whatever we are going to use it, right? Say for example, when we do a profiling for CPU profiling or memory profiling, we will create our own reports. Those things like say your heap dumps, your thread dumps, or on your analysis report, all these things will be available in the drive. But as a document, what you refer will not be given by me, but Isha will give it. That's a very standard engineering document, which you can look into it.
Okay, they share the link. I'm sure they share any the link for the document.
Yeah, they will share the document, but let me check what it is because I seen it a little long back, but I don't know what is there exactly inside. But I'll check and let you know what is there in the document, and I'll ask them to share it. But you can pretty much rely on the live sessions, whatever I'm going to teach, and whatever that is I'm going to give it. That should be more than enough. That document, let me check and get back to you what is there. Okay, but they will give it. I know they're going to give it. But that is not going to related to the topics what I'm going to cover. That is going to be very generic introduction to performance engineering kind of a documentation. Okay, so that is optional for you to look into it. The live sessions, whatever I do and whatever I provide is going to be much more practical and useful. That you can still go and refer it, but I will check and let you know tomorrow. Okay, on the document what they're going to provide.
Okay, sure. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's not like if we go to NIIT or other coaching center, right? They will give a book and then they will teach whatever that is there in the book. But it is not the kind of that will be here.
No,
Whatever
the
Isha
reason
provides,
why, see the reason why I'm asking, right? If we have a like say theoretical information as well on a paper, right? That will be easy for read later. Like say, okay, when you are explaining, okay, we grasp it. After 2-3 days, we may forget. Again, we have to go through videos. If we have material on hand, right? It will be easy. That's why I'm checking.
Okay. See, whatever slides I'm going to use it, right? In that, if you want any content, I cannot share the slide, but I can take that content. It's my content, completely my content. So I can take that content and put it in a document. I can upload it to the drive itself. So if you find something, for example, if you wanted these commands, right? How to take the heap dump, or for garbage collection, I'll be explaining what is GC, what is object promotion, all the tuning flags, the collector, GC collectors, and then what are the various tuning flags. All these things, if you want, I can put it in the document. I can upload it to the drive. That I can do it definitely. Whatever information you want from my slide, I can give it to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Fine, guys. So we'll stop it here. Anybody have any questions on the registration or payment? You can reach out to Kumar sir directly or to the WhatsApp admins. Again, if you have any questions on the topics or the applicability of the topic to you, some of you called me today We had a very good interaction. So similarly, if you guys wanted to discuss tomorrow, mutually, tomorrow being office day, we can agree upon a time and then we can go and discuss if you have any questions, guys. Okay. So we'll stop it here and we'll meet next Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. There's one more question on this recording. A recording will be available on Monday afternoon, IST, and it will be over the YouTube playlist, and the access will be permanent for you guys once registered.
Got it.
Okay, guys. Super. Thanks for your time. We will meet next Saturday. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye, guys.